Hello, my love bugs, my honey bunnies, my boobalas. Mwah. Welcome to Love, Truth, and Beauty, episode 317. And in today's video, I'm continuing with populating my 58 or more video series playlist by reading aloud a translation that went from the Russian to the Arabic to the English of Hacking the Technogenic System by Vadim Zelen, who brought transurfing to the universe. Now, we hope that Vadim translates this book to English very soon, but until he does that, we'll talk about it in English from other translations with the personal efforts of my friends Moheel, Jawad, and Teodora Salvia, who took it upon themselves to take on the enormous task of sharing its wealth of knowledge, particularly during this time in our human history. So I'm doing my part to share this invaluable information that can be integrated into knowledge and further integrated into wisdom. So grab your favorite beverage and sit back and allow me to read to you chapter 20 of Moheel, Jawad's and Teodora Salvia's translation of Vadim Zelen's Hacking the Technogenic System. This chapter is entitled, If You Love Me, Then Eat. Question: I don't know what to do. I want to switch to a natural diet because I think it's the best option for me. But I live with my husband and he doesn't agree with me on this. He says that I am an extremist and selfish and only think of myself. Although I do not impose anything on him because he eats what he wants, at the same time, he forces me to eat the same as him. He always says to me, if you love me, then eat. He thinks that it is necessary to have in our life both good and bad, and therefore he wants me to eat cooked food and drink alcohol in order that my body may know how to resist all diseases, because if I only eat uncooked food, my body will be weaker and will fall prey to all kinds of diseases. My husband's food does not please me at all, but I am compelled to conceal everything in me because he has commanded this. He says, how do you know what your body wants? This thing is known only by doctors because they learned it, and man did not invent medicine in vain. It is also necessary for a person to take pills. And he said to me one day, you must choose between me and raw food. And if you want to eat only raw food, then let's break up because I don't want to live with a stupid person like you. I don't have an advice for such a situation because regarding family relations, it is better not to give an advice from personal perspective. But have you noticed the fact that your differences with your husband are far from food issues? There is an event mentioned in the Botenko family's pocketbook on making raw meals. Sergei Botenko, one of the women, came at the end of the culinary arts course. Her name was Fendi, and she told me that she intended to separate from her husband because he could not even stand to hear anything about raw food. Although she did turn to raw food only a month ago, she was tired of convincing her husband and became convinced that all attempts to persuade him would fail. A year ago, I received an email from Fendi's ex-husband, Peter, telling me in the letter that he had broken up with Fendi, engaged with another woman, and he was switching to raw food diet. Peter was delighted with the uncooked food and said at the end of the letter that Fendi had stopped eating raw food. The reader can find the mentioned book on the following website. So I'll have the information in the show notes below. We will summarize the rest of this chapter through the following points. Number one, how can we convince children to switch to natural diet? It is not easy to explain to them the situation, but they were eating this before, and why now they should stop it and eat something else. Explain to them exactly the situation as you understand it, because children understand all situations and maybe better than you. But kids shouldn't get addicted to supermarket meals. Unfortunately, ready-made meals are very appealing and can turn almost addictive. So there is little chance for natural food to come to mind. It is not easy for a person to avoid the influence of relatives and the aggressive influence of friends. But we should forget about compulsion when it comes to live food. The best thing you can do in this area is give your personal experience a positive example and nothing more. Forcing and conflict with family and relatives will not lead to any feasible result, but the opposite is true, as the situation will get even worse. Number 2, Valia Butenko. We were having a party and I was sitting with my friends and eating fruit salad, and a girl came and sat next to me, and I knew that this girl only had problems. The girl said, "Look at the pizza that I have, and you do not have the same because rabbits do not eat pizza, Valia. If I wanted, I'd have pizza now, but I don't need it." Girl, right, but why? Valia, well, if you really want to know why I don't want it, it's because it's made of genetically modified wheat flour and they spray toxic pesticides. And so the farmers wear a mask when spraying pesticides and wear special clothes to protect them from chemicals. The cheese on the pizza is cheese that's several years older than you and looks like it was taken from the army storehouse and has expired. As for the tomatoes, they picked them while they were still green and stored them in refrigerators and forced them to turn red with ethylene gas. The mortadella was made from the meat of animals injected with hormones, and these animals were raised in places that would make you feel sick because of the filth. Personally, I have no desire to eat such food. My father knows one of the owners, and he told my father that the profit of pizza restaurant is good because the cost of the raw materials used for making pizza is very low. That girl didn't have dinner that day. Number 3, I see everything clearly, I understand everything accurately, and display everything clearly. I am free, calm, and confident in myself. Number 4, I understand transurfing and immediately followed, but I couldn't accept your posts about live food and live water because I wasn't ready to accept it. I was searching like a maniac for something and for the meaning of all of this. I was attracted to the teachings despite their differences and fell in love with them. Then some minor tragedies occurred in my life. Then I bought the transurfing book and read it quickly, but I couldn't get a grip on it because I suddenly found myself in the Maldives Islands and don't know what happened to me there, but I came home with completely different personality. 9 months have passed. During these months, I only ate natural food, and I've added to the items that I eat linseed oil, selenium oil, flower nectar, and only drink herbal infusions. I also stopped using manufactured ornamental materials and switched to using natural materials and plant juices. Now I look so gorgeous, and I say with complete satisfaction of myself, the older I get, the younger I look. Number 5, Vadim Zelen says, in my world, no one cares about transurfing, and in my house, the word transurfing is never used. There is no one interested in the subject of natural nutrition. Can you imagine this? But all this does not cause me any harm in my relation. Why? Because I do not impose my vision on others in any way. Also, I don't take the initiative to talk about it unless someone presses me with the question. And I do the same with nutrition. I can share with everyone with the table. They eat meat and drink alcohol, and at the same time, my plates and glasses are completely different. If people want to have meat and alcohol, is this a reason to cut ties with them? I know that there are many people who are like me, who are loyal to their inclinations and desires and stick to them. And at the same time, they do not share this with their relations and acquaintances. And here you can apply the first transurfing principle. Allow yourself to be yourself and allow others to be others different from you. If you do not allow yourself to be yourself, others will not allow you to be who you are. Do you understand the meaning of what was said here? Number 6, when you abstain from eating meat, drinking alcohol, smoking, and other narcotic substances, don't be surprised because meat is a strong drug. You are moving into a range of high vibrations, and you can stop communicating with old friends and thus lose any connection with them. If a person abstains from taking drugs, for example, they will have nothing left to do together with their former addicted acquaintances. And if you stop drinking, you want to be fun to hang out with people who drink. But if you change, and at the same time remain flexible and adhere to Transurfing's first principle, your acquaintances will accept you as you are, and you will accept them as they are. Either way, you will have a lot in common. My friends with whom I used to party and drink a lot are still my friends, even after I stopped drinking. And despite the great difference between my meals and theirs, for my friends who have continued to drink alcohol, a number of them have died, and for the others, their appearance is pitiful and they suffer from many health problems and their lives are unstable. In your case, you either apply the first principle of Transurfing and preserve your environment, or your environment simply no longer suits you. Relationships that end because of diet are relationships that must be reconsidered. Are they healthy or mandatory? Number 7, ready meals or supermarket meals are appealing, but they are very harmful and addictive. Number 8, the policy of coercion regarding the diet must be completely stopped. The best we can offer here is to set ourselves as a positive example. Number 9, allow yourself and allow others to be others and different from you. Number 10, do not argue with anyone. Do not impose anything on anyone, and do not try to explain anything to anyone. Don't try to get others to behave in what you believe, but look for someone who already believes in what you believe. Without taking into account the preference for natural nutrition, I invite you to deal with this issue with caution and knowledge. Do not rush into illusions and consider what can be prepared for you. I myself adhere to a modern position on this issue. My 2 main principles are harmony and gradualness. But the unfortunate thing here is that among the proponents of the natural diet, there are those to whom this saying applies. If you force a fool to pray, he will break his forehead. By this, I do not refer to the messages that I have outlined here, only general speaking. Okay, my loves, that is my speech. I hope you enjoyed my reading of chapter 20. If you love me, then eat. Up next, chapter 21. Please help me grow this channel by giving this video a thumbs up and leaving a comment in the comments box below or privately. Please share this video with your communities, friends, family members, and on social media platforms you feel would benefit from this content. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, selecting the all settings so that the YouTube will let you know when I upload next. And if you find value, enjoy, or benefit from my content and videos, or at least entertained by them, won't you please consider supporting my work through a donation? My PayPal link is right below, or you can support my work by buying me the proverbial cup of coffee, so to speak, on my coffee.com/Bikini Kiss link. I thank you all so much for hanging out with me, with your participation and focused attention. I really do appreciate it. I cannot do this without you, and I do this for all of you who know that you are so much more than what the matrix defines you to only be. So until next time, my dear hearts, always act from love outside of the matrix, from your center screen, composing a new reality, quantum jumping all your lifelines. That's right. Let's go up higher and higher and higher so that we can all be the love that we are. We can share our love, create, make art, make music, make love, and you can all help me repopulate the true quantum co-creation field universe. Here's to love, truth, and beauty, my beautiful waking gods and goddesses. Mwah.